How you doing? Paula O'Sullivan here, based in Blessington, County Wicklow in Ireland. Just sharing another little video about my book, Same Shit, Different Day, Breaking the Patterns That Make Us Miserable. It's a metaphysical approach to wellbeing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle form. It's also available on other online stores as well. And I also have a few copies here in Blessington. If anyone wants to message me, it's €12 for the paperback version. Texaco on the N81 in Blessington also have a few copies left. I think they've one copy left today. Actually, I was down there earlier. But I'd probably be restocking there after that, you know. So I just want to share a little bit about how thoughts create your reality. And in chapter 2, I have a huge section on thoughts, and I cover lots of different things. I cover about thoughts, undesirable states of mind, how thoughts create your reality, how thoughts are energy. I share about the 2 different ways of thinking. All that kind of stuff is in chapter 2. So thoughts create your reality is a bit probably woo-woo for a lot of people. You know, most people don't realize the power of their thoughts and how they are affecting their situations in life, you know. But where I discovered about thoughts create your reality was 10 years ago, when I was 44. I just moved into Blessington with my husband at the time and the 2 children. We'd bought a house. I was working part-time as a taxi driver. He was working full-time. We were under a lot of financial stress, and the marriage was kind of failing at that stage. I'd been 17 years with him, and it was just not working anymore, you know. But we were trying our best, you know. But in the middle of that, I started getting these really severe headaches. They're like migraine headaches, really, really severe though. I thought I had a brain tumor or something. And then really, really chronic fatigue arrived after that, and I couldn't even lift a finger. I was struggling to get up each day to do what I needed to do for the children and that, you know. Then the pains. I got all these stabbing pains, arms and legs, weakness in arms and legs, then numbness in my face. Then I had a tremor. It's like I had Parkinson's disease, tremor in my head. Then there was brain fog. Oh, it's hard to remember all the different things. It was like lockjaw. Occasionally I'd wake up, my jaw would just lock. Oh, it was horrendously painful. Like, I couldn't figure stuff out. I was losing my memory as well. It was just really, I was scared. I was absolutely scared, you know. So I got tests done, and I went to a neurologist. And of course, he told me there was nothing wrong with me, that I just had migraines, and to go off onto I think it was some amitriptyline or something like that he wanted me to go on to. And I came out feeling, you know, intuitively, there was something not right there, you know. So I started taking a note of all my symptoms. I didn't go on the medication. I went and sought the advice. I got a second opinion. I got the money together, and I went and got to another neurologist I didn't trust. You know, sometimes you have to honour yourself. If something doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right, you know. So I was saying didn't feel right to me. I had to honour myself. So I started writing all my symptoms down in a diary then to prove that I wasn't completely nuts, you know. Or, you know, the way they treat you, it's just sometimes, you know, when there's no answers there, they treat you like you're nuts. That's what it feels like anyway. So anyway, I started writing it down just in case. And I went to the second guy, and he listened to me. And he sent me for a load of tests and all the rest. And he agreed there was something wrong, all right, but he didn't know what was causing it. And the brain scan said, you know, that I was prematurely aging, like I had a brain similar to an elderly patient, you know. And then the body scans were saying I was prematurely aging, and then they were showing signs that I might be developing epilepsy and stuff like that. They thought it might be lupus, but they weren't sure. And then my blood stopped clotting properly, so I couldn't even get the lumbar puncture to prove what it was, you know. So I was in the middle of all of this. I had a thought, you know, and I wasn't used to having too many thoughts of my own, you know. But this thought came in and said, hey, you know, maybe you're creating this yourself. And I was going, okay, batshit crazy, you know, lock me away right now, you know. But it persisted. And I said, okay, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at stress, because stress was a word I was using a lot. Oh, I'm feeling so stressed, you know. So I got a book, Dr. Hilary Jones, I'm Too Busy to Be Stressed. It was actually quite funny. And I enjoyed the humour. I hadn't laughed in a long time, you know. So I started reading about stress and practicing, you know, different techniques to actually alleviate stress, you know. And I was quite shocked at what stress is and what it does to your body. You know, this led me into another book, Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And that led me into NLP and hypnosis and Reiki and mindfulness and meditation and all sorts of stuff. So I started reading all these books, which is rare for me at the time. I'd left school at 15, so I didn't have a lot of education. And I wasn't really one for reading books like that. That was not my thing, you know. I hadn't the brain space to be doing that, you know. But the brain fog cleared pretty quickly. I had brain fog as well. once I started doing the meditation and practicing breathing techniques and stuff like that, the brain fog actually went. And the symptoms cleared up within 3 months, believe it or not. I was shocked at this. I was going, oh my God. And then the blood cleared up within 8 months. So I was going, I'm onto something here. But the initial work was done in those early months. So I was going, what else is possible, you know? So I started doing a lot of self-hypnosis, reading more on NLP, you know, and practicing mindfulness and the breathing technique on a regular basis. I'd get up early in the morning, I'd put CDs on to listen to program myself to deal with stress and stuff like that, you know. So this all began with a thought. So that one thought led me to create a different reality for myself. So thoughts create our reality, less about me. Everything. Absolutely everything. The device you're looking at this video on, whether it's your phone or your computer or your laptop, whatever it is, okay, that was created in somebody's mind. That was a thought in somebody's mind to create that device. Do you know? Everything gets created twice. If you're sitting on a chair or you're sitting on the floor, if you're in a house or in a car, wherever you are, whatever you have around you in your reality has been created by a thought in somebody's mind at some stage, which is quite amazing and mind-blowing when you think of it. The clothes you're wearing, everything was created in somebody's mind before it was actually created in reality. And the difference between dreaming something and doing it, you know, you think about something, then you take the action. When you take an action, then that action creates the reality of it, which is simple enough when you think about it, you know. But what about where you are in your life right now? What about the relationships you're in or not in? Or the situation you're in financially or career-wise or in school or on a course or something like that. What about that? How did that just happen? Well, it didn't just happen. It started with a thought in your mind somewhere along the line. If you can trace that back without beating yourself up about it, because sometimes we're not in the place we'd like to be. We go, how the heck did I get here, you know? But it's actually your thoughts got you there. And it sounds simple enough, but it's not. It's actually quite complex, you know? Yes, your thought got you there. What can you do about it now, you know? Sometimes we can change it, sometimes we can't. Sometimes we have to just accept where we are, you know, do the best we can, you know. But I'm always trying to improve things, you know, even if I'm not where I want to be, I'm always trying to look to see what can I do to actually get myself into a better place, you know. And I found over the last 10 years that I was able to do this. You know, I've been able to change an awful lot of things. In the last 10 years, I went from being a taxi driver to being unemployed, obviously on and off. I trained as a hypnotherapist. I trained as a Reiki practitioner. I trained as a life coach. I've written 2 books. I've developed skills in art and photography. I have a load more books that I'm writing for next year. Do you know, and these all started with thoughts in my mind. Do you know, these are all different things I've done over the last few years. So it's quite amazing what you actually can do when you put your mind to it and then back it up with some action. So your thoughts and relationships, they all started with a thought in your mind. Now, there's deep, deep thoughts in your mind. Most of us by the age of 6 have figured out how the world is based on our parents or siblings or society around us or whatever. You know, we've decided this is the way the world is. We've decided that this is the way we respond to things. So if you grew up with people who were abusing you or, you know, who were alcoholics or who were prone to be depressed or were super dramatic, stressed people, you know what I mean? Depending, everyone has had different situations, you know. You're going to grow up with that's the normal way of being in your life. And that's going to be your way of reacting to stuff in life until you change it. And most of us don't even question these scripts, these early scripts that we got in these years, you know. But you can change them if you want to. I've changed the scripts, you know. I grew up with a family who were very, very depressed. And they didn't really talk about things. And they didn't show open emotion or anything like that. And I was a person who wanted open emotion, you know. So I found that really hard growing up in that situation, you know. But I've changed it. I've changed it now, you know. I've changed the way I respond to stressful situations. And I've changed what I do in my life. And I'm directing it a little bit. None of us have full control over everything. But, the knack is to focus on what you can control. You know, focus on what you can control. So when I'm talking about the thoughts creating reality, I just want to share with you just 2 ways of thinking about things. Now, most of us are by default the first way, which I'm going to simplistically call them the worst way and the best way. Okay, so most of us are by default worst way thinkers. Okay, and we're always focusing on what is going wrong, what has happened that we can't change, We're playing disaster movies in our mind. We're focusing on all the different fearful things that can happen to us as well. And we're focusing how we can't actually cope with any of this stuff, you know. And then there's a better way of thinking, and it's focusing on what can go right, what we can do to survive in the present moment. And if there's anything we can do to change it, we focus on that as well, you know. So I get into that a lot more in depth in my actual book. And I also have a YouTube channel, Paula O'Sullivan, on YouTube. And I have anxiety breathing technique, and I have a video up there with the 2 ways of thinking that I made years ago. My hair is very, very short in it. So that might be of some use to you as well. So anyway, I've rambled on probably enough. If you're interested, please contact me if you'd like me to explain anything more. I mean, I could go on writing books forever, you know, that sort of way. But if anyone needs me to explain anything or to elaborate on anything, please feel free to contact me. My email is paulaosullivan1@gmail.com. And I have a new website. I'm just after launching there a few weeks ago, and it's paulaosullivan.com. And I'm also on Facebook here. So thanks for listening, and feel free to share. And any questions at all, please contact me. Thank you. Bye now.